Hello and welcome to Kogi in Focus, the program that keeps you updated with developments in and around Kogi, Nigeria's confluent state, in the last 7 days. I'm Oluwatosin Osuji. On today's edition, Kogi Governor Bello signs 4 bills into law. Good news for Kogi State traditional rulers as government restores some of their stools and upgrades others. And on the streets this week, we hear from the people what they think about Governor Yahaya Bello and his administration. These and more when we return. Don't go away. Welcome back. Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello has signed 4 bills into law, including the State House of Assembly Service Commission Bill, following signing into law of the Autonomy of Government Frontiers Bill by President Muhammadu Buhari. The State Assembly Speaker Mafi Kolawole, who gave the details, said the state executive has in various ways supported the smooth day-to-day running of legislative activities, which has impacted positively on the state and the people.
We thank you so much for this opportunity that today the House of Assembly will be having their own commission. On behalf of my colleagues, once again, Your Excellency, we thank you so much for this opportunity we have to stand before you, and we thank you for the cordial relationship that we really enjoy at the House.
Governor Bello explained the benefits of the new laws.
We inherited over almost 15 years of backlog of pension yet unpaid. But with this particular law, by the grace of God, Kogi State pensioners, civil servants that will retire, and the pensioners that will come after this law, by the grace of God, will never go back home without their pension and other benefits unpaid. The 4 laws is going to ensure that smooth running of government this time, and the various governments that will come after us rely on these to touch lives of the people.
Aside the Kogi State House of Assembly Service Commission Bill, the other bills signed are the provision for a contributory pension scheme for state employees bill, the Road Traffic Administration and Vehicle Inspection Bill, and the establishment of Kogi State Water Supply Bill. Kogi State government has promised to boost the activities of the Kogi Geographical Information System with an additional investment of 350 million naira. The Director General to the Governor on Media and Publicity, Kingsley Fanwo, who briefed journalists after this week's executive meeting in Lokoja, said Governor Yahaya Bello has promised to double efforts at ensuring security of lives and property in the state.
This is in view of his nomination by the New Telegraph newspaper as the best governor on security in the year 2018. He said he will continue to invest heavily to ensure security of lives and property in the state.
The state government also announced the upgrade of some traditional rulers to higher stools. They are:
similarly, the State Executive Council approved the restoration of the previous appointment of traditional rulers who were earlier suspended. Also, Council considered and approved the modification and cost application of the Ohino's Palace in Okene.
Also approved is the reclassification of a secondary school to a government science and technical institution in each of the 17 local government areas of the state.
State Executive Council observed that Kogi State has only 4 existing government technical colleges in Ankpa, Ida, Okehi, and Mokpamoro local government areas. All other 17 local government areas, by this approval, will now have existing secondary schools redesignate and strengthen in the area of technical and vocational skills. And Council also directed that the Ministry of Education will collaborate with the required federal and relevant stakeholders to enable this to happen.
The State Executive Council also highlighted the significance of Governor Yahaya Bello's signing of 4 more bills into law, describing the development as having huge positive socio-economic consequences for the state. Kogi State Governor's wife, Rashida Bello, says the free medical outreach, which started in Central Senatorial District, will be taken at all the nooks and crannies of Kogi State. She gave the assurance as she paid homage to Atta of Igala and His Royal Majesty Amme Michael Idako, who is also the President of Traditional Council of Chiefs.
We have to advocate and tell our people that health is wealth. We have to check our body to know what is wrong with us. And by the grace of God, I was able to get some doctors, among which we have your children from our land here. They are going to test people for various illnesses, and then they are going to provide at least drugs that can last for 6 months for them.
The traditional ruler gave his stamp of authority on the activities of the Yahaya Bello-led state government and commended the governor's wife for her efforts at improving the quality of life for the less privileged.
What we are seeing now is what we have never seen in so many years past. This is a new innovation. The reflection on Her Excellency is also the reflection on His Excellency. Now, there are some people who are staying here, they are somewhere, maybe in the bush, in the village, who are hopeless, where there is no drinking water, where there is no electricity. But this outreach will reach them. Health is wealth.
Top government officials at the event said the state government will continue do all possible to put smiles on the faces of all the people.
This edition of the free medical outreach is not a state project. It was conceived, initiated, and implemented by the Office of Her Excellency.
We've started giving out care to our people who have diabetes, hypertension, malaria. Hundreds of them benefited through this project that you brought through your foundation.
The wife of the Atta of Igala land and beneficiaries of the First Lady's gesture were full of gratitude.
This is not the first time you have been reaching the people. It's what you have been doing since you came on board. And we always pray for God Almighty to continue to lead you.
Tested, then that they will attend to their health as well as so I sincerely pray that God Almighty should grant and sincerity in all her undertaking.
Some doctors have been attending to us. They check my BP, they check my blood, and they gave me a lot of drugs. I'm very happy.
Rashida Bello Foundation Healthcare Outreach already gone round the 5 local government areas in Kogi Central, where thousands of people benefited. She promised to do the same across the 19 local government areas of Kogi East, starting with Ida local government. If you are just joining us, this is Kogi in Focus, a weekly review of happenings in and around Kogi State in the last 7 days. For your contributions, information, feedback, and possible advert placements, please call the numbers displayed on your screen, or better still, reach us via our social media handles also displayed on your screen. More Kogi State government appointees are doubling as farmers and are making a success of it. The Director General Government House Administration, Shuaibu Oricha Umar, said the agricultural revolution taking place involving top government functionaries in the state is due to the government encouragement received from Governor Yahaya Bello, describing the governor as a man who encourages persons around him to practice what they preach. Oricha explained these and more when he visited his farm at Okehi in Kogi Central.
Revolutionizing the agriculture sector is high on the Kogi State government's agenda, and Governor Yahaya Bello has continued to deploy schemes which he says will enable the state to key into the economic diversification program of the federal government.
His Excellency, when he came on board, the first thing he did is to declare a state of emergency on the agricultural sector. As a result of that, he directed all his appointees to go into farming. Here we are today. I'm happy to be part of the regime. What I've done so far is to encourage others.
Tauran Farms at Okei in Kogi Central presently occupies 27 hectares of land where it grows maize, cassava and bananas, and also engaged in animal husbandry. He attributed his success story to the encouragement and support he received from President Muhammadu Buhari and Governor Yahaya Bello.
We have various agricultural programs of His Excellency where mini tractors were distributed. So they have helped us a lot to get to this stage. We want to produce and reduce hunger and reduce unemployment.
The farm has employed more than 30 staff at different levels of responsibility.
I make sure that that place, they clean the place and the place should be okay for them.
The road wasn't like this to this place. It was a footpath. So we have to go into the route survey from the Kaba Okene Road there, at the junction there, over 2 kilometers to this place. Community nearby this one, they've been praising His Excellency and my director too, because the road has great accessibility for them.
We're trying our best by sinking boreholes. The borehole that we have sunk so far can provide the water need of the farm.
Express his view on how to make farming more secure with particular reference to the herdsmen crisis.
Thinking that with the largeness of the land, security becomes a major challenge. So we've tried to mitigate the security challenges by first of all trying to embark on a very serious, aggressive fencing program. This place has been existing for the past 23 years where the farmers and the herdsmen have been working hand in hand. And to do that rapport is still there up till now. As we talk, they came here to graze and they graze gracefully. Like when they come, because of the rapport, they stand to guide their cows, and we watch them so that they don't go beyond their limits.
By next year, there will be a large more than this.
The farm's chief executive, Richard Umar, who is also Director General Admin Government House, wants more young people to get involved in farming, as to him, farming is the most sustainable way of fighting unemployment and creating food security at the same time.
Farming is the easiest employment. You don't need CV, you don't need any qualification. All you need is your energy, your determination to work. Thank God that some of the youths are now keen into this agric project. The state government has a lofty program for agricultural sector, and I advise them that they should key into it. If they actually want to go into farming, I'm available and encourage some of them. Some of them are graduates. Since they couldn't get a white-collar job, they decide to go back home. When I mean go back home, go back to the land. That is the easiest.
Community leaders and elders say the establishment of the farm in their community is a blessing.
This is what we want. So you have food, you have food, those one have food and have food. So we have enough food to eat. There's no need for us to go and buy, to go and use our huge of money to go and buy food stuff. So this one is a great achievement for us.
Tauran Farms has a ranch for its cattle and has an administrative block, staff quarters, a food processing factory and a warehouse under construction.
The Kogi State government has promised to replicate greenhouse farm project in 10 locations across the 3 senatorial zones following successful harvest recorded in the first Kogi State greenhouse farm in Osara, Kogi Central. Commissioner of Agriculture, Olorutoba Kendi, who disclosed the plan, said with the greenhouse farm, many women and youths will positively engage and reduce the level of poverty among people.
It will be a training grant for women who are interested in farming vegetables. This is a new technology. And the good news is this: once you are trained there, you don't need a greenhouse to apply the skills. You can apply it in an open, so we know that it's going to be a training ground and it's going to bring economic prosperity to the state. It's going to reduce unemployment around here.
The governor's wife, RASHIDA Bello, joined by top government officials, local and foreign dignitaries to celebrate the first harvest for the year, said her husband's commitment to creating an enabling environment for agriculture to thrive aroused her interest in farming. She called on women and youth to take advantage of the different agriculture-based programs and other wealth creation platforms introduced by the state government.
We all know the importance of agriculture in Nigeria today, and we're trying to use this way to encourage women to go into agriculture, especially into vegetable farming, because apart from the health benefits of fresh vegetables, this will also go a very long way in reducing poverty among our people. By God's grace, we are praying for development so that we'll see if we can have it in all the areas, all the local governments, so that we can have it closer to our women.
One of the foreign guests at the event highlighted the economic significance of the state government's agricultural development drive.
I would love to urge their youth and their children to continue, not only for the economy of Kogi State and Nigeria itself, but also for future generations to have healthy farmed food. Okay, I think this is really fantastic. What I've seen today is much more than I expected.
Still on agriculture, Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello's wife, RASHIDA, has called on women in the state to be part of the ongoing rice production revolution in the state. She made the call during a visit to Omi Dam Rice Mill in Yagba, West Local Government Area in Kogi West. She acknowledged the efforts of the management and staff of the mill and described the progress made so far as evidence that Kogi State is ready to produce large quantities of rice to be sold within and outside the state.
We've been encouraging women, especially from the rural area, to go into agriculture. As we know, it's going to eradicate poverty from our state or in Nigeria at large.
She also visited ponds on the Omi Dam farmland. RASHIDA Bello said through her foundation, more women will be empowered to become self-reliant. The State Commissioner for Agriculture, Toba Kendi, said the rice mill situated in Kampe Omi Dam has impacted positively on the lives of residents within and beyond the immediate locality.
Very sure by the time this facility comes on board, by December, by God's grace, it will create massive employment, because we're not just looking at direct employment, we're looking at wholesalers who will still come on, the retailers. So many people will be coming along the value chain.
He said the produced rice will be sold across Nigeria. Succour has reached 300 households of flood victims in Ibaji local government area of the state. Ibaji, among 10 local governments submerged by the flooding, got the attention of the federal government as demonstrated by the federal government during the recent visit by Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo to affected areas.
People living in the house see the structure be submerged by the flood. The baby, the mother and the family are now living under the sun. That is the pain we are having. This is the main road.
We are very, very grateful. We are happy because of our flooding. All things are spoiling and our children, they are suffering. We are very, very grateful.
Government and non-government organizations staged a mass provision of relief items and temporary shelters for affected persons, for which the people say they are grateful.
We have seen that the families being displaced could serve as a trigger for radicalization and violent extremism. And because we do not want these things to happen, we are taking these steps, and we hope that from the interventions, they will feel a lot better.
And so the hygiene level currently is on a very low ebb. And so we are also calling on every spirited individual to also come to their aid.
The state and federal emergency management agencies say the job is not done yet.
There's a lot of damage that has been done, especially to farmlands and households. Lots of people are displaced, and the state government is trying.
Economically, it has a very, very terrible impact on the people of Ibaji, because right now they are recording their losses. It's not easy for them. The people of Kogi State are saying a very big thank you to the Action Aid for coming to support us in this critical time. We actually appreciate them, and I want to say that the government of Kogi State is saying thank you for their support.
Non-government organizations share the same view.
It's not been easy. Coming through the community, we see water flooding everywhere, and their houses have been flooded by water, their farms have been taken away by water.
Ibaji community has been submerged in water since the flooding took over many parts of the state. The Kogi State government says it has refocused its efforts towards having credible and reliable data aimed at capturing out-of-school children. The Kogi State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Rosemary Oshikoya, said this in Lokoja during the second National Conference on Education Management Information Systems. Oshikoya described the theme of this year's conference, making every learning environment count, a panacea for solving problems of our school children as appropriate.
Even at the level of the state level, we had gaps, which is why we should commend His Excellency Governor Yahaya Bello. Most of these policies are not filtered down to state level. Implementation frameworks were not known. I'm happy that Kogi State just took delivery of those policies, but then we found that even without us formally receiving them, we have already started strengthening that in 2018. The institutions and the boards are already strengthening of those frameworks. The state ministry is repositioning itself to assume the role it should have in coordinating credible data at the state level.
Other key stakeholders described the conference as enlightening and rewarding.
Without having enough data to plan, you are planning to fail. So I think that the federal government is doing well through Federal Ministry of Education. Even where we are, I think the state government is very committed. They have demonstrated it, especially even with the federal government. The minister we have is somebody who is very, very committed.
Directing the utilization of resources in order to avoid wastage. The lack of accurate and timely data has therefore continued to be a problem in policy formulation and planning in the education sector in Nigeria. UNESCO and the World Bank are currently working in synergy in one way or the other, and with federal and state governments to improve the quality of education for Nigerian children and education data management processes.
It seeks to impliantly promote quality and the presence of average learner, quality learner, the curriculum and the quality teaching and learning process for quality outcome.
The Secretary to the State Government, Ayode Flashadiarike, who represented Governor Yahaya Bello, promised to ensure the newly equipped State Education Data Information Management System works effectively.
Even before the National Management of Information System, we've already launched into management system in Kogi State. And I feel proud to let you know that will definitely align with every policies that are rolled out by the federal government in managing information in the education sector.
Representatives of the 36 state ministries of education were all present at the conference, which held between the 15th and 18th of October. The importance of culture took center stage in Lokoja as OHON women of Ayegunle Gbede in Kogi West converged on the Kogi State capital, Lokoja, to celebrate OHON Cultural Day. It was an avenue to showcase the people's varied traditional customs and values unknown to many young people. A number of the people's dance steps and songs were performed.
Culture is also about people, and people is culture. In Ayegunle Gbede, we have people. And we love our people.
Traditional leaders and others at the event speak on the relevance of culture in the present-day world.
It is not an overestimate to say that anybody who lost out in mastering his ethnic language is tending towards extinctions and obliteration. I'm using this opportunity to appeal to you that appeal to you, mothers. Mother tongues must be taught and mastered by children. Wherever you find yourself, a time is coming when a child may not be issued state of origin certificate if that child cannot speak any of the OHON dialects.
In our system, a man can marry as many as he can, but you can only wed woman once. So when you do this one, whether the husband die, whether he divorced, he can never be wedded. And when you do this for our women, even if we leave you, the woman will be brought back when she died. That is the uniqueness of this. So it's a very important thing. We are promoting unity and cultural practice.
But the most important one is we notice that our cultures are no more valued by the upcoming young ones, and the only way we can showcase this or bring them closer to their culture is by organizing this kind of program in the mature society.
The organizers of the event, Idayat Olabola Abdusalami, urged the people to maintain and project their culture positively at all times.
We notice that these days people are no more interested in culture, in traditional things. So we on cultural Ayegunle Gbede Descendant Union in Lokoja, we now decided that we want to showcase our culture. We want people to know much about our culture.
On our views from the streets this week, we hear from the people what they think about the Kogi state government and its principal actor, Governor Yahaya Bello.
In terms of development, I think he's trying. He has really tried a lot in terms of development.
I believe the governor is trying his best, but he needs to try more better so that the money will flow, the salary will go well, and everybody will benefit from the salary.
In fact, the man is trying when it comes to security. At least you can sleep with your two eyes closed without any problem. The area I want him to improve is the area of salary to the workers.
Actually, the state government is trying because I know that seat is not easy for everybody. Everybody that go to that seat, honestly, that seat is not easy. It's not for ordinary people. It's trying, and I think it should improve on health.
That's where we wrap it up on Kogi in Focus for this week. Join us same time next week for another 7-day review. And don't forget to continue doing to others what you want them to do to you. I'm Oluwatosin Osuji. Have a pleasant week.